There's a really interesting fear that people who've been cheated on have that can be difficult to put into words. They want to heal. They're exhausted by the fact that they've been hurt. They're exhausted by the intrusive thoughts. There's this constant emotional weight. But there's another part of them that's actually afraid to start feeling better. Because what if you heal and the relationship actually starts feeling normal again? What happens if you laugh together, enjoy being around them, or go several days without bringing up the betrayal? Does that mean that what they did wasn't that serious to you? Does it mean they got away with it? Does it mean that they are officially off the hook, whatever that means? Sometimes I believe that our unconscious minds run this program that says, I have to stay in pain as proof that what they did is serious and as leverage to keep them accountable and to make sure that it won't happen again. And I think this is tied to a bigger issue, which is the fact that after betrayal and infidelity, if you choose to forgive, it can feel like there's this massive power imbalance in the relationship. Whereas if you don't forgive, and if you stay in pain, you get to be the one who has the power more in your court. By not healing, you get to keep them in this place where they have to answer all your questions. They have to keep proving themselves to you. They have to tolerate any anger that you have toward them. And to a certain extent, that makes sense, and it's completely valid. The person who created the rupture should take responsibility for helping repair it. And I'm certainly not saying that you should be telling the betrayed partner to just hurry up, move on, get over it. This is not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are actually ready to heal, who are actually ready to move forward. And there's this small part of them in the back of their mind that says, I'm not sure if I'm ready to give up this leverage yet. Because as long as I'm still suffering, they still owe me something. And if that feeling exists, if that power dynamic exists within the relationship, they might feel less entitled to challenge you. They might be more willing to just accommodate your requests. And especially if the relationship for a long time before this, they were the one who always got their way. Now you're the one getting your way. You don't want to give that up. And so it might not always be about power, but it might just be this feeling of being prioritized. They're finally prioritizing me, and I'm finally prioritizing myself. And if I really do forgive, what happens to all of that? So the main thing I'm trying to say is that sometimes you try to stay in pain for the sake of maintaining leverage. And this leverage might be to even make them a better person. You might hope that if they continue feeling bad enough because you're feeling bad enough, they'll finally feel enough guilt to become honest, to become more mature, or to just become appreciative of you and the relationship. Or at the simplest layer, maybe this leverage for you is just about having some feeling of control, because they took a lot of that control away from you, and now you're finally having a little bit of certainty around the relationship. Even if it's a painful dynamic, you're certain of it right now. Whereas if things start to get better, it feels like it could become anything again. And this fear also can come from external sources as well. Other people might reinforce the idea that feeling better means that you're weak or naive or lack self-respect. Society has very strong opinions about what you should or shouldn't do after being cheated on. If you don't believe me, I encourage you to just keep looking through the algorithm for videos about this, and you'll see people have extremely strong opinions. My own comment section often is filled with people with very strong opinions. And you can never make everybody in this community happy. If you stay, there will be people who say that you're letting them walk all over you. If you leave, the family members of the person who cheated on you might never speak to you again. If you're in a religious community, a lot of times leaving can equal a lot of shame, even if they don't verbalize it. The idea is that marriage is supposed to be forever and this covenant and all these different things. And so your place within that community can be affected. And so all these other voices can keep you in this place of just continuing to suffer with it. Because as long as you remain angry, people can see that you know what happened was wrong. As long as you remain guarded, no one can accuse you of being foolish. As long as there's a lot of tenseness around the relationship, it's obvious that your partner isn't simply getting away with it. But your self-respect and your decisions that you make for your own life and for your own relationship shouldn't be at the mercy of public opinion. And you certainly shouldn't have to hold your pain up as proof of whatever it is that they want from you. And you might be listening to this and saying, okay, Jordan, I hear what you're saying, but it really isn't other people. It really is mainly me. Like, I feel like if I heal, if I move forward, then that's saying the betrayal was acceptable, that I'm okay with it. But I think it's definitely possible to heal and still say what you did was unacceptable. You can forgive and heal and move forward and still require a lot of your partner. And this applies whether or not you are going into a new relationship or if you're forgiving the person who cheated on you. You're allowed to no longer be defined by the betrayal and still have a new set of standards that you're looking for in the relationship. I think the faulty assumption that is often running in the background is that your pain is the thing that's going to hold them accountable. Their accountability should come from a mixture of, one, your boundaries, and two, their own character and willingness to make things right. If the only thing keeping them honest is your ongoing suffering, then I think you should take a massive step back and reconsider whether this relationship is worth any effort at all trying to save. So while we're on this topic, let's also ask the question, does forgiveness mean that you're letting someone off the hook? I think that people often think of forgiveness that way. It's like you're saying, yeah, you're no longer responsible. Let's forget that it happened. But I don't think that's what forgiveness has to mean. I think what it can mean is something along the lines of, you deserve to be held accountable for what you did. You caused real harm. You made me suffer. I did not deserve any of it. But I am choosing not to make the rest of our relationship a permanent punishment of that act. In a very real way, I think forgiveness is saying that they do deserve to be on the hook forever, but you're still going to choose to not let them have to stay there. It does not mean that you're accepting this type of treatment moving forward. This type of forgiveness doesn't remove your ability to leave if the behavior repeats itself. But if you want to give someone that you love exactly one opportunity to improve, you're allowed to do that. I think people think that if they forgive once, they're going to have to forgive a million times. You can forgive exactly one time if you want.